So let's begin again. And let's see if we can maintain a connection this time. And I do need to point my YouTube thing here at the new stream. But it looks like we're more stable now than we were a minute ago. So let's see if that allows us to continue here unabated. We'll keep an eye on this. Okay, so we're going to take this thing out of the box, and we are going to see what it's all about. So we've got the remote control. Now this is the Fire TV stick. There are two iterations of this. There is the Fire TV stick version, and then there is the Lite, which is the same thing, except it lacks a few features. And the big feature that the Lite version lacks is the ability to control other devices. And one of the little hidden secrets of these Amazon Fire TV devices is that they have a really, really slick kind of universal remote capability. So, oops, this is unlisted, so I got to just do one other thing here. Sorry, folks, I'm just trying to get my YouTube stream back up again. And we need to go and make this public, which I thought I had done. And that should get everybody else into the stream. Okay. And Miguel Hernandez said the YouTube feed stopped working. Yeah, if Amazon's a little more friendly to keeping my streams up when we have connection trouble, which is unfortunately happening way too often these days. So, yep, tomorrow is the day we get the new connection installed, so hopefully that will improve things. And what we are doing right now is just taking the new Fire TV stick out of its box. So we have a remote, we have a USB cable here for power. And these tend to be pretty long. Most of the time, you can plug these into your television. And what's also important to note with this Fire TV stick is that this is not for, well, it could work on a 4K TV. But if you have a 4K TV, you're best getting the 4K version, because that one will certainly work better. And here we have the stick itself. It looks just like the old one, but they have made this one a little more powerful. So it's got a new processor inside. My friend Elias Saba, and we'll do our own benchmarks here today, but my friend Elias Saba, who runs AFTVnews.com, tells me that the performance on this new one is very similar to the 4K stick. So even though it doesn't do 4K, it's got similar processing power. So we got a bunch of folks streaming into the chat here, and I will put a few of these up. Yeah, we are having significant connection problems, and it's good that my new connection gets installed tomorrow. At least the appointment's been made between 12 and 2. So we're going to try this again. Are we working finally? I don't know. I took my cable modem off the wall and just put it on top of something just to give it better ventilation. I don't know if that's been the problem all along, but we'll see what happens. Max Stock wants to know if I'll do an unboxing of the new Surface Laptop Go. Probably not, and I'll check it out. The challenge is getting those things in. I have a hard time getting Microsoft gear in to review. I have to buy it. I bought this too, by the way. So there we go. All right. Yep, so we're going to keep going here. Let me just say hello to some folks. We got a lot of chats coming in. All right, so we're going to get this out of the way. Yeah, so it's the same looking device as it was before. What they've done is they've revved the hardware, so it's going to be a little faster now. And there's one more thing in this box, which is the USB power supply and some batteries. And of course, when you buy an Amazon product, you get Amazon batteries, and these go in the remote control. So we'll put those in real quick into the remote. Whoops, and get all this put together. All right, so we're going to put this in here, and we'll put this one in here. Yeah, I'll check out that Surface laptop, definitely. I'm always interested in laptops, especially inexpensive ones. And I love the Surface Go tablet. That's been a really, really fun device. All right, so what they also give you in the box is one of these little HDMI extension cables, because sometimes when you try to plug this into the back of your monitor or TV, you may not be able to get it back there. So what you can do here is attach this little extension cable to it. And this sometimes will give you better Wi-Fi range too, because you're getting it out from just behind the TV or under it. And then you can kind of plug it in this way. And actually the thing that I'm going to connect it to, which is my video capture device, I am going to connect it up with this extender just to get that going. And we'll plug power into it. And hopefully the internet connection will be stable now. And if it isn't, tomorrow I get my, so tomorrow is going to be an epic day for me, because in addition to my fiber internet connection getting installed, where we're going to go from having 12 megabits per second upstream to 3,000 essentially. That's a big jump. I'm paying for it. That'll be a big jump, but it's also going to be more reliable because I have a fiber optic cable that's just for me. Nobody else, just me. And it sits out there and it's going to be awesome. There's not going to be any interference. I am so excited to have this thing get installed tomorrow. And in addition to that, the brand new Star Wars game, the VR Star Wars game comes out, and I might stream that here on Amazon too. So there you go. Jack is on the Amazon chat. Hey, Jack. Yeah, so if you, so we have this broadcasting in 2 different places, here on YouTube, and then it also goes to Amazon. So if the YouTube feed ever drops out, click the link in the description, because that's going to take you to the Amazon one. And Jack and my friends at Amazon make sure that the stream stays up longer when I'm having connection trouble. So YouTube often dumps me out when I'm like blipping for 10 seconds. Amazon's more patient. They let the stream kind of work for a little bit longer. So have a look at that. Now I'm going to get this thing set up, and I expect to have a few little difficulties with my account because I have a very long password. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. So let me get my other camera going here so you can see what I'm doing. So we have the display up here, and I'm going to add the stick to my vMix workstation here too, so you can get a feel for what we're looking at here. So what I have to do first is, do I know German? I think it had English up there a second ago. So I got to hold down the home button here on the remote to get it paired up, and that'll pair it up via Bluetooth. There we go. Now sometimes these Amazon devices come with my account already installed, so we'll see if that has that. I'm just going to wait for, okay, so we're going to go and scan my Wi-Fi networks, and I'm going to connect it to my main network here. And I've got to type in my Wi-Fi password. And it's connecting up to the 5 gigahertz network here. So it's connecting. And we'll wait for that to connect. Wow, Brian Parker, $100 super chat. You are too generous to me. And I'm telling you, you don't have to do this. I really appreciate it, though. By the way, if anyone wants a Mac Pro, Brian Parker's got one. So, and he's trying to get rid of it. So inquire within in the chat. He'll tell you all about it. I think it's a 2013 version. It's pretty powerful. I have more computers than I know what to do with, otherwise I'd buy it from him. Thank you again, Brian. You don't have to do that. We're getting the latest software installed. So it's doing its firmware update, so we'll go through that real quick. And Brian's chat here is to cover the first month. Yeah, that'll be a third of the monthly fee, so I appreciate it. So it's $100 per gigabit, I guess, is what it's going to cost me. But I have I got the order today because there was some question about like how they break it out. We have 2 gigs on one leg and 1 gig on a second leg, so a total of 3. It's pretty crazy. And Jack says, isn't it crazy how far the Wi-Fi connections have come? It really is. I mean, when I first got Wi-Fi, it was probably, I should say when I first started playing with it, it was probably 2002 or so. And I bought these PC, these little PC MCIA cards for my laptop. I still have all this stuff in the back, so I keep everything. And I was amazed by it because back then, most of the Ethernet connections you were working with were most likely 10 megabits per second, and the Wi-Fi early on was 12. So it was actually a little faster than some of the hardwired connections a few of us were using. There were some still advantages, obviously, with Ethernet over Wi-Fi. And I had 2 different devices I was playing around with at that point. I had my laptop, and it was amazing, first of all, to kind of be freed of the wire. So I could roam around the house and sit on the couch. I mean, all the things that we kind of take for granted now, like it started with that Wi-Fi card in 2002 or whenever I got it. But what really amazed me was the range on it and how fast it was at a further point away. So I remember very specifically, actually it must have been before, it was probably 99 or 98 now that I think about it, because I was still at my mom's house. And what I did is I had, actually it's back here. So you see this little silver handheld here? It didn't have Wi-Fi built in, but they had a thing that you could plug it into, and then you could put the card into that. And so I took that little handheld, that very one, and I walked like all around the property to see how far I could get. And I was hitting my internet connection from the street. It was amazing. It was totally amazing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this actually works. And it worked better than you would expect. Like it was I had a DSL connection. It was like a megabit down and, nothing up. And I could get my full DSL connection anywhere, across the street even. It was crazy. It was amazing. Jack says, now companies can connect to your devices almost automatically. Yeah, and it's nuts. Now here's what's funny, Jack, is that my connection is so fast that I don't have, I don't believe there's any Wi-Fi technology I can buy to take advantage of it. So one of the big challenges that I had to do, I'm talking to Jack on the Amazon chat, one of the advantages, or one of the things that I had to do was buy new networking gear that could accommodate the speeds on the wire, because my network internally was only a gigabit. So I had to buy, I just did a video on this a few days ago, we had to buy a new network switch, a couple of them, so that I could get 2.5 gigabits brought to some of the rooms in the house. And even then, I'm still on Wi-Fi. I'll be lucky to get a gigabit on Wi-Fi. So it's going to be a fun challenge, to many more live streams to come, to try to figure out all this stuff, I think. So it'll be interesting. All right. Reese Armstrong says that there are 123 watching now, which is great. Ken Driggers here says that they are running Verizon fiber across the street at his location right now. Isn't that great? So it's fun. And by the way, this is the Mac that Brian is looking to get rid of. Super powerful, so definitely check it out. Monty's got the same connection problem that I had. I was lucky because apparently I had fiber running by my house right out of the gate, so they could connect up with what was already there. And in case you're wondering what we're doing, we are setting up the new Fire TV stick, and right now it's just doing a firmware update. So once that is done, we will be up and running. Now I'm going to do something that could potentially derail the stream, which is to add, you know what, I'm not going to do this yet because I don't think I need to. I was going to add like just the full screen of this, but I don't think so, because this looks fine, right? You can see the screen, and I can point at things, so I don't really need to do a screen capture just yet. All right, Monty's asking, do I have Wi-Fi 5 or 6? I'll pull up his question. So right now I just have Wi-Fi AC, so Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz, I guess. Unify has a new Wi-Fi 6 access point, so I'll probably start swapping out the ones that I have with that. So I have one of them right, it's like right, I'm looking at it, right in the ceiling. So eventually I will start upgrading all to Wi-Fi 6. But if I'm not mistaken, I think like 1.2 or 1.5 gigabits is the max on Wi-Fi 6, and that's only when you're really close to it. So we'll have to see what happens. All right, the Fire TV has updated, and it's checking for updates. And it looks like we got another one to download, so we'll let that one do its thing. It looks like a quicker one, though. And we'll let that finish up. Tech Nerd wants to know if I will be looking at the Google stick that just got released. And yes, I have ordered it, and I should get it tomorrow. But you know, you all know me and the shiny objects. So tomorrow, as I just mentioned, the fiber optic connection is getting installed between noon and 2. And then right around that time, the new Star Wars VR game comes out, and then I'm going to retire. I'm done. I'm just going to live in that X-Wing until the world ends. Sally wants to know, is my new connection done through Comcast Business? So what I got is technically yes, through Comcast Business. It is done through their Gigabit Pro service, which is a business product that's residential. All right, so I can't show you the screen. Maybe I could. Let me see if it gives me a different code when I cycle this. Hang on a second. No, it's giving me the same code. Okay, so right now on the screen, I'm able to sign into my Amazon account from my phone, and that's going to make life a lot easier for me because I have a very complex Amazon password, and I have two-factor authentication enabled on my Amazon account. So what I can do here, I'll show you the overhead, is go into my phone, and I can just type in a code, and when I type in this code, it's going to activate my Fire TV stick without having to type that long password in with the remote. And I think this might be a newer thing because I remember having to do the whole code thing in the past, but this is a lot easier. So it now says my registration is complete, and here we go. We are successfully registered. And it says, is this me? It is me. It is I. I would like to use this account. So I'll say continue. And I could save I don't need to do that. I don't like to save my Wi-Fi passwords anywhere. Now, normally if my kids were going to have access to this, I might enable the parental controls. But I have to say, my kids are really good about not watching stuff that they shouldn't. Actually, well, I would say that my little one is probably going to be the troublemaker because she's a little more willing to break rules or try to make her own than the older one. All right. So now we're preparing the remote for setup. Yeah, so there's, so Sally in the Amazon chat saying, like my joke about retirement, there's a commercial that Sony did when, I need to record some B-roll here while I talk. There was a commercial that Sony did a while ago with these two kids like growing up, and you know they were like really into Star Wars, and it kind of flash forwards to the present when the guy's kind of sitting in an office and his buddy shows up in an X-Wing and has one for him, and he breaks the window and jumps in. Like that commercial spoke to me. Give me 1 second here. I was going to say Fire TV stick. What I'm doing here is just recording some B-roll. I'm not shooting the review right now. I will do that later. But what I am going to do is record some B-roll, because one of the things that, and I mentioned this at the outset, one of the things that I really like about the Amazon Fire TV devices is that now almost all of them, with the exception of the new light model of the stick, will allow you to control multiple devices from your Amazon Fire TV. So for example here, if I selected an LG television, now granted I have it hooked up to a monitor right now, so this is not going to be valid, but what it'll do is allow you to control multiple devices, be able to turn things on and get things going to where you need them to be. And if you ever have a problem, you know, in the house with getting everything turned on properly, you can configure the Amazon Fire TV to get everything set up the way it needs to be. So you can get, you know, your cable box to show up in one spot, and then if you hit another button, it'll come back to, you know, the right input settings. It's pretty good. I'm going to probably go into it a little bit more in the review. But it's a really good universal remote platform, and it has to work kind of through the Fire TV. It does a lot of this over HDMI CEC, but it also does it over infrared. So it's really, really flexible. So I'm probably going to skip through this part right now. But let's go and just move forward here, because I have it hooked up to a monitor. But you can see all the support that it has. And again, it'll turn this into a universal remote, essentially. I'm just trying to see if I can get through this part here without selecting a monitor. Isn't this crazy, like how many different things it supports? And it's just like everything. You know what I do have, though, in the other room? I do have a cheap TV I could maybe hook up. Actually, you know what? Why don't we do that real quick? I got this little 720p television. I'm just going to say brand not listed. So they kind of force you into Fire TV, point at your TV, toggle up and down. Okay. I'm just going to say yes to everything. I'll come back to this. And then we can get started here by choosing our streaming services. So I have Disney Plus. That's it at the moment. Now what you can also do is select some of the cable TV services that you want here as well. And we'll just kind of skip through some of these here. And we'll go. And by the way, there's some great free stuff out there. I haven't seen Happy Kids yet. You know what I want to do is I need to go and do an update. I'm actually going to select a couple of these, because I did a video on like all these different free TV services, but I think there's been more since last time. So Tubi, Pluto, and Zumo we covered in prior videos, but I don't think I've seen Friendly or Happy Kids, so we'll probably take a look at those. And we'll go to finish here, and it's going to download these as apps. Now in the Amazon chat, Sally asks, I saw the 2018 stick supports Dolby Vision. Does the 2020 stick also support Dolby Vision? So let's have a look on the box here, because I am pretty sure it does. Actually, this supports Dolby Atmos. Let me go look it up, because this is not a Dolby Vision capable monitor. But I am pretty sure, hang on, let's see, Fire Stick, Dolby Vision. So the 4K stick I know supports Dolby Vision. But let's see. So let me go pull it up on the Amazon homepage here. Fire TV stick. And some folks in the YouTube chat may have an answer here for us too. And by the way, you can see what my kids watch here. So they watch a lot of the Amazon shows. They like Artie and Creative Galaxy. My little one likes Dino the Dinosaur. That one kind of bothers me. Super Wings. All of these songs are like ingrained in my brain. All of them. Bubble Guppies. That's a lot of fun. And you get a lot of stuff. I'm an Amazon Prime subscriber. So if you're a Prime subscriber, you get all this great stuff, you know, out of the gate. All right. So the all-new Fire TV stick. And again, this is the 1080p version. Let's see what it supports here. It does Dolby Atmos, and it does not do Dolby Vision. So this does HDR10, 10 Plus, and HLG. And you know, again, this is 1080p, so if you have a 4K set, you should probably get the 4K stick, because that one's better suited for the TV that you have there. And there you go. So we're up and running. Now we've got a couple of things we're going to do here. The first is I am going to just get some of these apps downloaded for demonstration purposes later. So we will download Netflix. And what I'm very happy about, because part of my living is derived from YouTube, is that there's now an official YouTube app on Amazon devices. That wasn't there previously. If you have an older device, it will have it also. So that is there. Reese Armstrong is asking about my streaming method right now, which is I'm using Restream.io to broadcast to both here and YouTube at the moment. And he's wondering if it's available for Amazon. So I am transmitting through their RTMP right now. So it is, I don't know if it's specifically supported by Restream just yet. So I can't sync the chat. And actually, my vMix app that I'm using does not support Restream. So that's that. Okay, so what we're going to do actually is some benchmarking and stuff. Now, there's an app that a friend of mine wrote. Actually, you know what I want to do first? Let me do this first. We're going to go and look at some of these apps and channels that I have. Because when you buy these low-cost devices, there's actually a lot of stuff that you get for free. And let's go into my already installed stuff here, and I'll talk about some of them. So if you are a Prime subscriber, you get Prime Video, part of the deal. So you don't pay extra. If you're getting Prime, you get this. The other thing I like is IMDb TV. Now, this is owned by Amazon, but this is a free TV service, so you get, whatever they've got. And this is similar to like Pluto TV and others. And so you get a little program guide here, and these are ad supported. So if you're not a Prime subscriber, you still can watch all this stuff. And you've got kind of like a TV guide kind of thing of streaming shows, but there's also on-demand stuff that you can watch. So that is pretty cool. Let me get out of here before I get a copyright violation. We got to be careful with that. Pluto TV is another one. You've got, there's just a lot of free stuff now. Plex, which is a service that we cover a lot here on the channel. They're a sponsor here. That runs on these sticks, so you can get that, and they've got free TV now. So there's a lot that you can run here. So we'll get Plex installed. So I do want to test some things with Plex later, so we'll pop that in. And I found for like home theater uses, the Apple TV or the Fire TVs are not great for that, but they are good for watching on lower end TVs. And with this one, this is kind of a lower end setup with 1080p. We'll grab Shovel Knight here just to see how the games run on it. So we'll download that. Now you don't have a lot of space on this. I think it's only got like 8 gigabytes of space. So it'll be enough that we can install some of these things. And we'll get Downloader. Now Downloader is something that my friend Elias Saba wrote, and it allows you to sideload applications. And I'm going to be doing some testing of its benchmarks to see where it kind of stacks up against some others. So we're going to play with that. What's also nice about the Fire TV is that you get Apple TV. And here's an argument for, and I see a question here which I'm going to answer from Reese Armstrong, because I am kind of in the same boat as he is at the moment. So I have an LG OLED TV, and I like my TV a lot, but some of the new streaming apps are not available through the television. That's a very bothersome thing. So for example, my LG TV won't get Apple TV. It just won't. So they're never going to get it, but you can get it here. So I think if you're looking for a stick, the Fire TV stick is a good choice, the 4K for an LG OLED, because you can watch all this stuff. They have an Ethernet option also, and they're not that expensive. So I think that's something to consider. We are going to test the new Chromecast one that just came out also. So we'll see that. Let me show you Pluto TV, because that's another, or Zumo's another one here, but Pluto is kind of like the leader in free right now. Do I have it on here? I probably don't. So we can install that real quick. And we can do voice searches here too, so we can load up the Amazon A word, and I could say, Pluto TV. And there you go, we can install that. Get that going. So what's cool is that if you have a good internet connection, for the cost of this, you can get all this free stuff. And Pluto's a good one for free stuff because I think they have probably the largest free library that's available. While that's installing, I will show you Plex, because Plex is one that a lot of people don't often consider as a free TV source, but they now have a lot of free TV. Again, in full disclosure, they are a sponsor here on the channel. You do have to sign up for an account with Plex, but I have one already, so I'm just going to log into it, and I'll just show you their free library. And they actually get exclusives. And they also do some fun stuff, too, because you can, on Plex, you can watch together with people. So you can call up a friend, you can pick out a movie, and then the two of you can watch it simultaneously. So, and if you pause to go up and get some popcorn, it'll pause it on your friend's TV. We did a whole thing on that. That was a lot of fun. But my favorite TV box, if you want to know, I use the, looks like you don't have to sign in for it, perfect. I use the NVIDIA Shield, which is kind of like the enthusiast's box, because that thing is the most powerful. And what's funny about the NVIDIA Shield is that it hasn't changed in 5 years. Like they've made new versions of it, but it's the same chipset, and it's still the fastest TV box on the market. It's amazing. But these sticks are good for things that don't involve gaming and other stuff. So this is Plex, and you've got just a lot of stuff to watch here, and they update it quite frequently. They get some exclusives also. So these are available only on Plex right now, which is pretty cool. And again, this is all ad supported. But if you want to not pay for, for content, you could do really well here with Plex and Pluto TV and YouTube, and Amazon's offering the IMDb TV. So there's a lot that you just don't have to pay for, which is great. Here's Pluto. And Pluto's just got a ton of content. I mean, it's just crazy how much they have. This is owned by CBS Viacom, so that's why there's so much. And they have marathons of stuff, so you can they have 70s Cinema, a Paramount movie channel, because again, this is owned by CBS. It just goes on and on and on and on. And so they've got genre stuff, as far as cult films and whatever. But then sometimes, so for example, this is Beverly Hills 90210 running 24/7. Baywatch, you want your cheesy shows, you got it. They have they own Star Trek. How awesome is this? There's a Star Trek channel that just runs all day long, all free. And you're gonna have to put up with ads, but if you don't want ads, you can subscribe to some other service and get that. And then, what you'll also see on here are, news shows and newscasts and whatnot. And these are not, so this is not CNN. This is the online version of it, or they kind of run a news update that runs for a certain length of time. So you don't get the cable version of the channel. So NBC News Now is different than NBC News. CBSN is different than regular CBS, but they have anchors and it runs all day long. And what's funny is people don't realize that these free live channels for the networks are probably as profitable as the stuff people are paying for on subscription, because there's so many people watching this stuff. And you think about it, you can get the light version of the Fire TV stick for $29, and you get this whole library of free stuff that you can just stream for $30. So your internet connection and the stick, and then the rest is free. And then, of course, you got YouTube. And who doesn't love YouTube? Because I'm on YouTube, and a lot of you are on YouTube right now, right? So it's great. So it's good stuff. Richard Smith is asking about Dolby. I got to take some questions now. Dolby Atmos support in Netflix. I'll have to look that up. The stick does support Atmos itself. It doesn't support Dolby Vision, but it supports Atmos. And I will have to investigate that, and I'll add that to my list of questions to answer in the review. So I will try to hunt down the answer to that for you. And by the way, there's a lot of new streaming sticks coming out. Right now, it's crazy how many different things I'm going to have to review in the next coming weeks. So let me go to and Reese Armstrong here. By the way, so here's another point too, is that these are running Android. So this is the Amazon version of Android, but you get a lot of the ability of things that you can do on Android, and that you can sideload apps over. So in a few minutes, when we start running the benchmarks, what we can do here is go to Downloader, and we can start moving those things over. So I'll show you that in a minute. Give me 1 second here, folks. I'm just going to put a note into my document here to answer the question on HDR in the review. Because we need to also differentiate the light versus the regular one. And I think the big differentiator is device control and Atmos audio. I think the light version will pass it through, but this one will do some onboard decoding, I think might be the difference. I got to do a little bit more research on that. And then we'll also look at HDR support on Netflix. Now, or Atmos support, I'm sorry, Atmos support on Netflix. Yeah, so if you're looking for HDR, this will support it, but it's probably not ideal because it is, it's a 1080p device, and there's very few HDR capable 1080ps out there. let's see, I'm just going through, lots of questions coming. We got a lot of people watching. Patrick Burke says that unless it's been fixed, GeForce Now sideloaded onto the Fire TV stick has audio issues. Yeah, we can look at that, and we'll play around with that. Oliver White mentions that the light doesn't have volume control either. Yeah, you have no device control on the light, and you do have it here. So if you're really on a budget, you know, it's $10 less for the light versus the regular one. But I think for a lot of folks, the regular one is probably the better one to do that. Adrian MVP, is your YouTube working? Because on mine, the Fire TV stick is not. I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's pop into YouTube real quick. Relentless Relento wants to know what version of Android. I'm pretty sure now the Fire TV sticks, the new ones, are going to be running on Android 9 on the back end. And what I'm going to do here is just look up my channel and see if we can find my channel. This is how famous I am. Nobody, when you do a Lon.TV search, you don't show up, right? There I am. Well, this will be kind of fun. Let's watch the live stream that I'm doing right now. And we got to skip through my ad. Skip to video, skip ad. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So we're watching a live stream on YouTube on the live stream that I'm currently doing. That's kind of fun. So John Tierney here brings up a point about ad load. Yeah, this is the one thing you know, the big growth, as I mentioned, the big growth area right now in YouTube and all these other free services, or all video services for that matter, is advertiser-supported video on demand. They call it AVOD, A-V-O-D, and that's like I said, that's the biggest growth area right now in video, and so advertisers are flocking to this because it's highly effective advertising. You can target it pretty much the same way you do display ads, but you know, when you think about display ads, that whole auction and marketplace began at a time before a lot of the technologies that we have now. So there's a lot of fraud and things going on banner ads. On this stuff, it's better. And the result also is that you know that you have some attention with those ads. So the trend will be trying to balance those things out a bit. But advertisers see the free video space as tremendously valuable. And they're paying, you know, high dollar CPMs or cost per thousands to get those ads in front of you. So I don't see that ad load ending. I will say, because I've had some people talk about YouTube ads and some of the concerns with how many they're seeing. YouTube has YouTube Premium, which I'm a subscriber to, and I feel like I need to, and every once in a while I do boot up YouTube logged out just to see what the experience is like, because I've been kind of out of touch, because I just have YouTube Premium, and when I start a video, it just starts. There's no ad, it just comes up immediately. But there's a lot of advertising on YouTube. They've certainly bumped it up considerably, and I think they're doing that because in many ways YouTube is competing against all these other AVOD services, and they need to provide similar advertising packages for advertisers to use there. The good news with YouTube is that you can pay for a premium subscription to get out of that. And for me as a YouTube creator, we do better with people who are subscribers to YouTube Premium than we do with people that are watching ads, because the amount of compensation to the creator is based on the minute. So we're paid on the minute for every minute that a subscriber of YouTube Premium watches. It's really, I wouldn't say it's lucrative, but it's on a cost per thousand basis, it's better for us. And I watch so much YouTube that for me, it's, you know, I pay for it because it's just like Netflix. It's something that I watch quite a bit. It's like my Amazon Prime account. I watch a lot of those things. Sally wants to know, running Plex on the stick, does it support the HD Home Run Connect Duo? Yes, it does. Here, I'll log into Plex real quick. So I have an HD Home Run Prime on my network. And in full disclosure, HD Home Run, Silicon Dust, the makers of it, are an occasional sponsor here on the channel. So let me log into my account, and I'll show you how that works. So we'll do a little live TV, and I've got to sign in. Plex makes it pretty easy to sign in also. So I have a network TV tuner. And actually, I think the HD Home Run Prime, or HD Home Run's app is available too. So I can show that to you. So we'll try that out real quick. Let me go to, sorry, I'm just logging into my account here real quick here. So bear with me, folks. Oops, I got to sign in. Sign in, there we go. Okay. Oops, not that one. Ah. 1 second. I've got all these password managers and I have to find the right password for the right account. And I have like 5 different Plex accounts because I'm always testing stuff with Plex. So I need to test. So I have a, I pay for all this premium stuff. I have the Plex Pass, which gives you all the high-end features of Plex. And I also like to test things on a on a free account just to see what the experience is like with those features without the Plex Pass. So there's some of that. All right. Now, one of the cool things about Plex, if you haven't played with it, is that you can run your own server and put your media on it. And so I have my music library. I've been slowly building up my music library. I have TV shows and movies that I've recorded. I put those on there. I have movies that I bought on disc that I copied to my computer's hard drive that I keep in my Plex server. So what's cool is that like anytime I want to watch a movie, I don't have to hunt around for the disc. I can just hit a button on my Plex server and it just pops up. And it works anywhere in the world. So if I am not home, I can just log into my phone and watch live TV at home. I can watch recordings from the DVR from wherever I am in the world. I can pull movies down and bring them on the airplane with me. It's kind of like having your own cloud service in your house. And it is awesome. And I've been using it for a number of years now. And part of the Plex Pass subscription is that they have a DVR built in. And if you have a network tuner, which I do, you can go ahead and watch live TV. So what you're seeing here is, and Amazon has their own tuner as well. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. I'm just going to scroll down to the HD channels here. And so right now this is all live TV that's coming in over, if I had an over-the-air tuner, it would be the same kind of experience. And I can pick something to watch. So let's say, here I saw Maury Povich on there. Let's pull up Maury here. And I can just hit the button here. And this is connecting to my Plex server. I'll enable that. And what it's doing is pulling the TV signal through that tuner onto here. So this is live TV. I can get my Medicare benefits all at the same time off that ad. I could go to Sesame Street. And we can tune there. There we go. Pretty cool, huh? So live TV works fine. And actually this is good because, let me look at one more station. Because in the past, I had not been recommending the Fire TV stick for live TV watching because it wasn't de-interlacing broadcast TV properly. So for example, if we go to my CBS affiliate here, these are broadcast at 1080i, which is 1080 but interlaced. And so you would sometimes see with fast motion scenes, you would see these little lines jumping up here because the hardware wasn't de-interlacing before it displayed. But here, as I'm seeing fast motion, I'm not seeing those lines. So it looks like this will do well to decode MPEG-2 video, which is what this is, and also de-interlace it. So it looks like it's working pretty well there. So the answer to your question is yes, it is working. Stefan in the Amazon chat wants to know, how did I do it? So there's a couple different ways to do what I just did. And I'll show you, I just showed you Plex. In my equipment room over there, I have a box called the HD Home Run. And what these are, I think, do I have one nearby? Let's see if I have one somewhere. I think I might have one in the closet here. Let me see if I can find it. Where did it go? See, I cleaned up my workspace, and now I can't find anything. I'll have to track it down. I did have a whole bin of their stuff. Maybe it's over here. Hang on a second, everybody. I'll go get it, and I'll show it to you. Boxes that you can connect to your... What did I do with it? See, this is what I get for organizing myself. I lose everything. Let's see, HDMI cables. Well, I'm going to have to track it back down. I will pull up a web page and show you what these are. So we'll pull it up on my computer real quick. And let's take, hopefully we weren't gone for long. All right, so if you are watching on Amazon, I'm going to pull up a product in the carousel here. And I will pull it up on screen also. So bear with me. And by the way, my connection problems end tomorrow. We're getting our new fiber optic connection and everything's going to be great. That's what I'm told at least. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up on screen for you so you can see what I'm looking at. Just bear with me here so I can add my computer to the mix. And I'll show you exactly what I was just using. Although it's not pulling my screen up on. Ah, great. Hang on, folks. Oh, that's not working either. It's going to be one of those days where nothing's working right. Here, let me pull this plug out here and see if this might result in a better connection. Hang on. I will get this going for you. Display 1 for MacBook. Huh, the Mac is not cooperating today. Usually this works just fine. Yeah, this is the last day of the bad connection, everybody. Hang on, let's see if it comes back. There we go. Okay. So, Stefan, I've got bad news for you. They had a product called the HD Home Run Prime, and I have it in my equipment closet over there. That's what I'm using. They don't make it anymore. And they were going to come out with a new version, which they have not yet released. And if you can find one of these, what you do is you call up your cable company. Here, I'm going to show you what it looks like, because I can take my phone into the other room there and show you. NDI camera, and I'm going to add, okay, I'm going to go into HD mode here. I'm going to take my camera in here and show you exactly what I was using. So NDI HX camera. By the way, I'm talking to Stefan on the Amazon chat. So let me pull up, this is going to be a little shaky footage because I'm just using my phone here. But I'm going to pull up this shot here. And on the floor, I know it's a bad place for it, but on the floor here is an HD Home Run Prime. And this box is what we were just using. And so what it does is you plug your cable TV into there, and then you have to get a cable card from your cable provider. Now, up until recently, they were forced to provide these per the FCC, but they recently rolled back that requirement. But most of the cable companies should still have them. And I got this from Comcast, this card about 10 years ago now. And they actually give me a credit for, I get a credit for using it instead of renting equipment. And so when you have that, every cable TV channel that is not encrypted will be available to things like Plex. You can also use their app, which I can download real quick, and get those things up on there as well. So it's really good. If you can find one, I would get it. And it looks like Nick F in the chat has 2 primes in the box. So there you go. We solved Nick's problem. So reach out to Stefan. I think that's going to be your best bet. And I've been using, so that unit I've had installed, geez, I would say it was one of the first videos that ever got traction on my channel was that one. And so it's been flawless. And we've interviewed them. They also make versions that work over the air. So you can get a version that just works over the air and you're good to go. Hook up an antenna. You can get 4 tuners in there. It's good. I'm pretty sure they're still on the page here. If not, we can sideload it. Let's take a look. All right. Huh, I guess they're not on here anymore. We can probably sideload it. So there you go. All right, so let's take a look at some games. And what we're going to do first here is I'm going to pair up my game controller. And if you're curious, and I also have some more questions I should probably be taking too. So let's see what we've got in the chat here. Our Tornado's got the new ATSC version coming, ATSC 3. And it's interesting, Tornado says that Comcast doesn't credit him for his cable card, which is interesting. So yeah, did YouTube stop? Did they dump us? No, we're still going. Yeah, so there's two versions of this live stream. I had to restart it because of our connection issue earlier. So that could be why you're not seeing the stream up right now, or you're looking at the unlisted one. This one is public. Oh, Monty said I spelled it wrong. Let me try this again. HD home run. We'll talk to it and see what we get. Yeah, it's not in here. They've got the Channels app, which is another great one. That's, I mean, there's a lot of choices here for live TV. You got Amazon's versions. You've got Channels, which is another great service. You got Plex. You got don't have HD home run, it looks like, but you have other ones. So there's a lot of choice out there for free TV or live TV, and the over-the-air boxes, like the HD home run boxes, are really good. All right, let's see here. Take a few more questions, and then we'll just going through my question list here to see if I missed anything here. Yeah, so the connection is going to be really shaky, everybody, up until tomorrow, because that's when the new connection is here. And I'm missing a bunch of questions, but we're going to continue on with here. Okay. So we're going to pair up my game controller now. This is the 8BitDo SN30 Plus, and I like this one quite a bit. We're going to turn it into Bluetooth mode, and we're going to just hit the button here to get that into pairing mode. And this is Bluetooth, and because the Fire TV stick has Bluetooth, you can just connect up to Bluetooth devices. So we'll go over to Bluetooth devices, go to game controllers, add a new controller. And right now this is kind of in pairing mode, so it should, there it is, the 8BitDo SN30 Pro Plus. It's going to pair the controller, and we're paired, done, just like that. Now these things are not known for their gaming prowess, but there are games that will run fairly well on it. And if we jump into one that we installed a little bit earlier, which was Shovel Knight, we can play some Shovel Knight. And this is the Android version of Shovel Knight. And I'm pretty sure that, I'll have to check and see if they're still making this available, because this was an Amazon exclusive for the Fire TV 2 when it came out years ago, because it came with the device. It was a virtual pack-in. But yeah, we're playing some native Android games on here, no problem. Using the game controller on a little stick. And we'll just do a quick little run through here. I'm just curious to see how it runs, because some of the other sticks weren't able to run this very well. This is not a demanding game, but look at that, it runs great. And he's like a knight with a shovel. Does that run nice? Look how nice that looks. It's running at, I mean, it looks, I don't have a frame rate counter on it, but it feels like it's running at 60 frames per second. It's good stuff. All right, so we got the game controller attached, so I'm happy with that. And in the Amazon chat, Sally is talking about the premium apps. And yeah, so the one thing that I've run into with, with the HD Home Run is that it supports the non-encrypted cable channels. on a device like this. But something like HBO, it depends on what device you're using to watch TV on. But some of the devices won't work with encrypted channels. So what I found to be a better alternative is just to use the apps that those services provide you. So like for HBO, you go to HBO Now. And apparently there's stuff that's only on HBO Now that's not even on the cable channel anymore. But I get HBO Now as part of my subscription to HBO through my cable provider, so I go with that. And part of the reason why I'm not using over-the-air antennas here is because I can't get anything over the air where I live. So I've got a lousy internet connection. I can't get any TV on an antenna. Like I'm totally, kind of like in the middle of nowhere here. But I now have a fiber optic connection. It just has to get hooked up tomorrow. So we have to go from there. Carl Campbell wants to know, how does it connect with the iPhone? That is a good question. So I have the iPhone here. I don't know if there is a remote. Is there a remote for this? There might be. Fire TV remote. Let's see. Yep, there is. Okay, let's download that. That's a good thing that I didn't think about covering. So we're going to add that to the mix. Fire TV remote app. All right, so I just downloaded. I have to put my password in here. I just downloaded the Fire TV remote app for the iPhone. So we'll play with that real quick. And I'm going to jump back to the title screen on the game here. Oops. Let's back out of this game here. So we'll go back to home. But it runs good. I think I'm pretty impressed with that. So, if there's games on the App Store for the Fire TV App Store, so you will find games. And for ones that support controllers, they'll run pretty nicely. All right, so what we're doing now is we're installing the Fire TV app on the iPhone. And we'll wait for that to come up. And Ethan, I didn't activate sound on this. That's why you're not hearing anything. I don't have any speakers on the TV. I'm not directly capturing right now. So if we go over to, okay. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, so it found my Fire TV stick on the network already. And then it's asking for a code just to confirm that I'm the right person that it thinks I am. And so we can, let's see what this is doing here. So this does not appear to be working yet. It found it, but it's not controlling it. Let me try this again. There it goes. Okay, it is working now. And what's nice about this is that you get the keyboard. So if I wanted to do a search, I can pull the keyboard up. Although it doesn't seem like it's letting me type it. Oh, let's see. There it goes. Okay, so I went into the search window there. Watch. So go back. So go to search. And then when I move the cursor down to the things there, I could type in stuff. That's cool. So that's that's the remote app. And then, oh, look at this. I can also load up apps from the phone without having to go navigate anything. So I'm on my phone, connected as the remote, and if I wanted to load Apple TV, for example, I can just hit that, and it's going to summon Apple TV. That's pretty cool. That's a neat feature. This is something I hadn't explored before. That's a lot more efficient than navigating through the menu, because you can just go here and pull your apps up. So I just loaded up YouTube. That's cool. Although it's going a little haywire right now. Looks like it lost its connection. There it goes. That's neat. That's a neat little app. Thank you for the question there. That was a good one. Harvey Babb wants to know, how does this compare to the new to the 4K stick? So the big difference is that this is 1080p only. So that immediately, I think if you have a 4K TV, then you should get the 4K stick. This supports HDR though, but max resolution is 1080p, so you're not going to get the most out of your 4K set. The other thing is that this one doesn't support Dolby Vision, which of course the 4K one does. So those are the big differences. And from what I'm seeing, we haven't run the benchmarks yet. The performance though, as far as its processing power, is pretty similar to the 4K stick. So they're very close in performance, but of course you don't get the resolution out of this one. So we will have to explore that. Monty here has a good question about emulation. So I am going to get RetroArch on here. So we'll look at that. It's a solid way to do it. We're going to look at some game streaming also. So we'll take a look at that as well. And I'm going to play around too. I got a third-party Ethernet adapter, which I'll mess around with on this too to see how it works and comes together. All right, so now I need to check my web server to see if I have the benchmark tool that I want to install real quick. So hang on a second there, folks. I got to just look up there and make sure I got it. I think I put it up there the last time we did this, but we'll find out, won't we? So we're going to go over to do two things. What I'm going to do now is connect up my little Logitech keyboard here. This is their K830. And what I like about this is a great home theater keyboard, and it's backlit, which is really nice if you're in a dark room. It works with the Logitech dongle, but it also supports Bluetooth, and you can connect this right up with the Fire TV. So we're going to do that real quick, because I have some things that I want to type in, which we will do to get some of these things that we're playing with installed. So we're going to go to Settings. I'm going to go back to Controllers and Bluetooth Devices. And I'm going to put this into pairing mode here. And we'll just wait for it to show up. There's the K830. I'll select that. And I need to type in 146149, enter. And we're connected. Now you won't see a mouse pointer on screen, but it will appear in apps that support that. And so now we're going to go to an app called Download. Actually, I got to do one other thing. So let's go over to Settings. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do something called side loading. And we're going to put on a few applications that are not in the store, but are Android apps. So I just have to go into the right menu. I think it's under Preferences. Let's see. Things change their locations. So what we want to do is we just want to set this to allow me to, I think I have to put it into developer mode. Yeah, developer options. Install unknown apps. And we're going to allow Downloader to install unknown apps. And if you're curious as to what we've got running on here, this is the software version. So it's Fire OS 7.2.2.3. And we can check for updates one more time. Oh, there's another update. Let's grab that update real quick. There, update. This is like the third update we've gotten since we started the stream. Amazon customer is on the Amazon chat, is enjoying the stream. Oh, Elias is here. Great. Hey, Elias. We should dial you in if you want to pop in. I can dial you up. And Elias actually wrote the app. So, and he said, let me know if you have any questions. I will certainly let you know. And I did download the Downloader app, so we do have that installed. So, yeah, Elias, if you want to dial in, I can email you a link. I can bring you right in. No pressure. No pressure. Elias Saba, by the way, everybody, runs AFTVnews.com. And we have a neat history because, so Elias started his website from now I didn't start his website for him. He did it himself. He's a very capable and talented young man. So I had reviewed the Fire TV, I think the original Fire TV, if I'm not mistaken. I reviewed it on the YouTube channel way back when. And then he bought mine, because I resell things that I don't keep just to get rid of them and to earn back some of the money I spent to buy them. He bought the unit from me used, and then he reviewed it on his AFTV news site that he was starting up. And so we have this connection. So we always see each other every year at, he can't hop in right now, that's okay. I've been bugging him to come on for an interview to talk about all the new Amazon stuff. He's been super busy because there's all these new Amazon products, and he's got to get all the content up there. It's, he covers Amazon, so he has to be there. But Elias and I see each other every year at CES. And I apologize, Elias, that I took you to that horrible buffet, because I thought we were going to the good one, and I took you to the wrong one. So next time I'm taking you to the one at the Wynn. That one was great. That was the one I thought we were at the Mirage, but it wasn't. But we go to the PepCom show together. And in fact, one year they wouldn't let my friend into the PepCom show, so Elias was the camera guy. So he did some great help. He was a great help. And then he even gave me a ride home, so to my hotel at least. So not all the way back here to Connecticut. That would be a long haul. So I think we're good. So we're going to go and run his app called Downloader. And I'll get instant support here. And we'll say OK here. Yeah, so Elias was working for Amazon, but now he's back running his site. So here's what happens. I'm not speaking for Elias. I'll tell you my own personal journey. Is that now that I am self-employed, I will never be able to work for a company or a boss ever again, because I just, I work when I feel, I work all day long. I work constantly, but I could never like go into the office on a regular basis anymore. It just wouldn't work. Now here's something cool, everybody. So remember we paired up this keyboard trackpad combo. Now Elias's app supports mouse input. So as you can see here, he's got a web browser. And this is designed for downloading apps to install. But here's his site, aftvnews.com. Obviously, this is his app, so it's going to come up first. But he wrote this. He made this. And you can send him some money. You should send him some bucks here. I may send him some dollars later. So it's a super easy app to use. And I think I have the 3D Mark APK up on my web server here. So let's see if it'll grab it. Yep, there it goes. OK, so here we just went to my website and pulled down a file that I have stored there. And now it's going to install the app. And I need to use the remote to have that install happen. So now we have installed an app that was not on the App Store. And this is a standard Android app, nothing fancy here. So the Bacchanal is better at the Caesars. I have not tried the Caesars buffet. I've done, whichever one they said was the best, I did that one. But I really like the one at the Wynn. It just has a nice, just the atmosphere of it is really nice. Yeah, we did that one on the last trip we were on. And sometimes the screen will get a little squished here. That's normal. Well, it's not really normal, but it's normal enough for our purposes here. What we're just trying to do is get the benchmark started. And then after that, we'll have a, yeah, I'm not sure it's supposed to look like this. We'll see what we get here. I usually run the slingshot test, and we're going to have to download. I'm not sure why it's looking so squished here. So that looks better, right? Sometimes like these apps don't translate to the TV screen very well. This is a mobile app. But I run this because it's a really good benchmark. Yeah, we're going to run the unlimited test. So this renders everything off screen anyhow, so the result will probably still be valid. Yeah, here it goes. Now it's looking normal. But yeah, you should definitely go to AFTV News. He's got a great thing. Elias says he is the least foodie there is. Well, it's funny. We started eating there, and I'm like, I said to Elias, I said, this is not the buffet I thought it was, and I'm really sorry because this food is terrible. So it was, he was fine. He's a good sport. And this looks bad, but don't worry. This benchmark is super strenuous. And I forgot to turn the demo mode off, so that's why you're seeing it. Actually, I'm going to stop it here and see if I can turn that off real quick, because I just want to run the benchmark. So what you do is you have the option to turn off the demo mode. Yeah, include demo. We're going to turn that off, and we're just going to run the test. So we'll say slingshot, and we're going to go to unlimited, and we'll run it. And so you're not going to see anything on screen. It's just going to it's going to generate the graphics, and you'll see them show up as little tiles. But this is how we run it on every device, so we can get a good feel for the performance that we can expect out of it. Darth Bain is writing in about some kind words. Thank you for the kind words here. And he just ordered the Fire Stick 4K. Yeah, I would still, if you have a 4K TV, I would still get the 4K Fire Stick for sure. And Elias says that there is an app to fix that, so I will find that app and we'll take a look at it. But you know what's great is that you can install Android apps on here. So if there's something that you want to run that's not here, you can grab it and put it on there. We're going to do that with RetroArch in a minute. Jack wants to know thoughts on the Amazon Luna service. I'm eager to try that out because we've been looking at just about every game streaming service there is. And so that is certainly one that I'm going to want to check out. And I'm looking on the website right now to have a look at it. So I'm going to request early access and see if we can play around with it. Because I have, and it's funny, they're asking me what my internet speed is. I have super fast internet now, 3,000 down and up. At least tomorrow I will, not right now. Right now we've got lousy internet, but tomorrow we're going to have much better internet. Luna is Amazon's new game streaming service, and it pairs up really nicely with these Fire TV devices because you can pair up your game controller and kind of have at it. And I'm going to show you another one in a minute, which is one that I can run locally called Moonlight, just off of my gaming PC. And actually, while that test is running, let me set it up. We'll see how that works. So I've got my gaming laptop over here. I'm just going to set it up on this table, and we're going to try to connect to it over Moonlight, which is works with the NVIDIA game streaming stuff. So we'll get that set up, because that's another thing I'm going to want to demo. Because even if this is not powerful enough to run a AAA title, it can stream a AAA title, and you could do that in your home, or you could do that remotely. We should also try Xbox on the Xbox Game Pass on here too. Yeah, but Luna, I'm going to sign up for Luna. I'm going to do it right now because I've covered all of them. And let's see, I have a PC, I have a Mac. I'm just letting this test run. I'm going to log into my gaming computer here real quick. And actually, this might be a fun opportunity to kind of do two things at once because I'm just going to have to let this update. But as many of you know, I'm a big fan of No Man's Sky. And they came out with an update which apparently makes your planets look awesome. So we'll try to stream that over real quick. All right, so we're going to download. Steam VR got an update ahead of the big release tomorrow, which is the Star Wars game, which I'm very excited about. And I'm going to go and load up the GeForce Experience app because that's what we use to share the screen. And I usually have to disable the GeForce experience because it interferes with my vMix software, which I run on that laptop also. Life is not easy doing what I do because you're constantly having to unload things and reload them. It's just crazy. Monty says that Moonlight is his preferred home streaming application. What's nice too about Moonlight is that it's available on the Amazon store, so you don't have to sideload it. So that is worth checking out. Fabian uses a hard drive on his Fire Stick to use Kodi when traveling. That's a good use, actually. Absolutely. I'm guessing you might have to do the OTG cable for that. Oh, there it is. Yep, he runs it on a OTG cable to a USB-powered hub. Yeah, they're super flexible, and they're super inexpensive. So you can, I mean, I've got like 5 of these things now. So they are very flexible devices. Let me just get my NVIDIA thing going here. I got to log into my Google account to get that up and running because I had disabled it. And then I'm likely going to have to, oh good, actually logged in, perfect. So we're going to go to set up the in-home game streaming. I may have to do a driver update also, but we'll see if I can get by without it. All right, game stream is on. Okay, I think we should be in good shape. So let's see what happens here. So let that benchmark finish up, and then we'll try out some game streaming. And then it's like almost time for me to make my coffee. So Elias has a good comment. If you're curious about Fire TV, actually, by the way, Jack, if you're watching, Elias would be great for the live streaming thing. You should definitely get him on. Fire TV Stick Lite, the Fire TV Stick 3, and the Fire TV Cubes support external USB natively, including this one, so that's another thing we'll need to try. Meaning you can move apps to external storage. Others support unofficially, they just mount the drive for access. You give me a lot of stuff I got to play with here, Elias. So yeah, so it looks like if you run an OTG cable out of the USB port, which powers the Fire TV Stick, it should support that. And I've got something somewhere that can do that, I'm sure. So we will definitely have a look at that. Let this graphics test finish up here. We're just running a benchmark right now, folks, in case you're just tuning in. Yeah, so these things, I think, there's some discussion about the storage on the Fire TV Stick. These typically have about 8 gigs of storage, I think, so having the external storage really helps, especially if you're loading in movies or games or something that you want separately. And I think that's what's cool about these things is that they serve a purpose in the marketplace for consumers that are looking for something, kind of a basic, I'm going to put the box here so people know what I'm doing. For consumers that are looking for a basic streamer, it does that. And so a lot of times people will ask, well, should I get the Fire TV Stick or the Roku? And that's a good question. And I would say that the advantage of the Fire TV Stick is that you're getting essentially a little Android device that can do more than just the streaming channels. The Rokus do a great job with watching channels, and you'll get a lot of the same channels on the Roku that you'll get on the Fire TV. But the Fire TV you can run stuff on. So if you wanted to do more than just watch stuff on it, you can. You also get all of the Amazon A-word stuff. So I don't use the word Alexa because we don't want to trigger anybody's stuff. But for example, I'll show you, we're going to do a little demo in a minute when this is done. If I load up my app here, I'm just going to make sure my lights are connected. Let's go to Devices, Lights. Just looking here to see what I have on my list because I want to see plugs. Here's the plugs. Okay, so I need to add a plug here. Bear with me, folks. I'm just getting something set up while we're waiting for that. So plug, and we'll go to, so I have the Wise plug installed. And so once this is done, I'll show you some of the voice commands you can do. Because it's pretty much a full-on echo device. So anything you can trigger with the A word anywhere will trigger here. Ethan Jackson's asking about Antutu. I'm not familiar with Antutu, so perhaps you can give me some info on that. And we're just waiting for this test to finish up. This test does take a long time on lower end devices, so this is not unexpected that this test would take a while. And I need to see if, oh, studio lights, okay, there it is. So I have to just reattach the skill here, so bear with me, folks. Okay, almost done with that test, folks, and then we'll get to the next, we'll get to the next fun part. But this is all stuff that I do when I review devices. I run the benchmark, so that is what we're doing right now. All right, so I just have to reconnect my Wise account to my Amazon account, and we will get my lights going. It is linked, though, huh? Let's go manage. So right now I'm just configuring a skill here for my smart plugs. And it's telling me, even though my plugs are showing up in the Wise app, it's telling me that the server is not responsive. So we got to dig into this a little bit. Connected via Wise. Oops. I'm just going to recycle that skill. All right, let's log into my Wise accounts. I may have logged into the wrong Wise account, though. Hang on a second, let's see. And we'll let this finish up. Elias is answering all the questions that people had, which is great. The new sticks support Atmos and Netflix. And Netflix requires Fire OS 7 for Atmos, which the new sticks run. But that's right. So the Fire TV Stick 4K doesn't yet run Fire OS 7, but the new sticks do. And thank you for answering that, Elias, because somebody had a question about that earlier. So that's good to know. And Elias, one question that I have is, I noticed that on the comparison sheet between the regular stick and the Lite, the Lite version says it supports Atmos pass-through, but not Atmos directly, whereas this one does. So am I right to assume that this will decode Atmos and the other one just passes it through? And there goes our stream again. Hopefully it comes back, everybody. Stay tuned. Oh, I think we're back. And I don't know if YouTube is going to keep us up, but we'll see. So we're almost done with the test. This should be done shortly, and hopefully our connection stays up. And tomorrow, we're not going to have this problem anymore because we'll have my new connection. Okay, there we go. So let's discover devices. I'm just going to reconnect up my account here. And we got a question from Lon.TV about, as we're waiting for this to finish up its test, and I will put his question up on screen here for all of you. Is new Chromecast on my list? Yes, I have one on the way. It should be here tomorrow. So hopefully we will do another one of these with that. I've got so much stuff coming in. I can't even keep up with it all. DK Savage says, yep, we're still here on YouTube. Good. So yeah, it's going to be a little crazy here. As you all know, I've been struggling with my connection for months. But I have the appointment tomorrow between 12 and 2 is when we're cutting over from the coax to the new connection here. All right, cool. Now, once this is done, I'm going to show you some of the voice commands you can do on this. And we're really putting that little stick through its paces here. And Elias has got even more detail here, in case you're curious, on when you talk to Alexa while a video is playing on the Fire TV Stick Lite, the video has to pause, but on the Stick 3, the video audio lowers because Alexa can be blended in thanks to the decoder. So it has a, oh, I see, so it has an Atmos decoder that allows that to happen. So some little subtle differences there between the two. But I think, you know, honestly, I think that the device control features might be enough to warrant the extra $10 because they do have the best universal remote capability in the business. Nick F wants to know, I'll put this up here, about my install. Yeah, we'll be doing probably something on the wrap-up on Monday, which will be kind of like a review of the service probably. Maybe I'll do it as a standalone video, I'm not sure. But the install is going to be, the most interesting part of the install has happened already, which was the fiber optic splicing and bringing it in. So the next stage is really just, they have to just bring the, they have a switch that they bring in to interface between the fiber optic network and my home network. So that's going to be pretty, you know, basic stuff. So that one's not as interesting. But if you want to see like the whole fiber splicing process, check out my weekly wrap up from like 2 weeks ago. It was really cool to watch the whole thing because you know they had to bring, what they had to do is they had to run a cable from here to the end of the road, and then they had to splice it up there, and then they put the cable on the pole across the street from me. And then I have underground conduit. So it comes under the road through the conduit, and then it goes all the way down my driveway because I share my driveway with 2 neighbors in the back. And so it goes to this conduit output there, and then it goes back in and comes all the way back to the house. So they had to run all this fiber through. It was really fun watching it. And then we had these 2 retired police officers that brought the that actually did the home wiring installation. So it was fun. It was a really fun day. All right, I'm just going to update my my benchmark sheets here with the results of the test. And yeah, this is not going to rival any smartphone that you might run this on because this is, you know, it's not designed to be that. But we have years, and I'll pull up this this table that I'm going to be working on real quick here. We have years of data from all of these devices that we have tested over the years. And what we're going to do is go over to the 3D Mark Slingshot Unlimited. And by the way, if you want to look at this for yourself, you can go to Lon.TV/benchmarks, and it will take you right to the sheet, and you can look at exactly what I am editing at the moment. And what we're going to do is go down kind of to the bottom, right? Because it's, you know, it's not terribly fast, but you know, let's look at the number. It's actually a little bit zippier, just slightly, versus the Fire TV Stick 4K. So this is the Fire TV Stick. I'm going to call it 2020 because there's a couple of others that we have looked at in the past. Now I'll zoom this in a little bit so you can see how it compares. So There you go. Harvey Babb wants to know, can I watch this stream on a Fire TV stick? Yes, you can. In fact, we did that just a little while ago. So if you load up the YouTube app and you search for my channel, which is Lon.TV, you could watch this on YouTube right now as we broadcast, because you get the full YouTube app on this, which is something that wasn't always there before. 16.20 FPS. 7.50 FPS and 4.30 FPS. So if you're curious where this is, this is about the same performance as the Fire TV Stick 4K, but it's the entry. It's kind of like the entry-level version, right? Elias in his testing noted that it performs the same as the Lite, so the Lite will do pretty similar here. And then if we look at, I think we've run this before on the, I guess we didn't run it on the other stick. Huh, I thought I had the other stick tested here. I think I've got one kicking around somewhere. And you can see it's also competitive with the TiVo Stream. So, performance-wise, it's got the guts that a 4K box would have. It just doesn't do the 4K. But that's good performance, even though it's not like anywhere near what you'd get out of a, an iPhone or an iPad or something. It's good for what it is. And it'll be great for running, some basic games and stuff on, some of the Android games. Now, I want to, though, scroll up a bit, because this is just to put this in perspective. The Shield TV, well, this one got a score of 502. The NVIDIA Shield gets above 5,000, just to kind of put that in perspective. So the Shields are super powerful. But this is good. I'm not unhappy with what we just saw there. Okay, so now I thought it might be fun to do a couple little demos of the voice capabilities here. So I could do this. Watch this. Show me the garage camera. And it's going to pull up my Wise camera out on the garage. So I could pull up my security cameras on it. And it has to wait for Wise to work here, but there's my driveway right now, live. Isn't that cool? And then I've got another camera in the backyard. Show me the backyard camera. And this is a Blink camera. This is a different brand of camera. But it will now go out to Blink. Blink is owned by Amazon, by the way. And I can go out to Blink and pull that up. Look at that. That's the backyard. Isn't that cool? And then I could do other stuff too, like turn off the studio lights. Let's see if it knows what to do. There it goes. Yep, just turn my lights off. Although it just turned off one. Turn on the studio light. There it goes. Isn't that cool? Show me the weather in New York City. I miss going to New York City. You get the weather. And she's talking to me right now, too. I just don't have the audio pipe through. So that's neat, don't you think? All right, so now we're going to move on to Moonlight, do a little game streaming, right? So let's reconnect the game controller, put itself to sleep. And I may try to shoot this in a little while, because I think I got everything I needed to get done here. So I want to get today's shoot done. I wanted to shoot this before because tomorrow I'm going to be totally distracted with my new connection. And I'm also going to be distracted by the fact that I can fly my X-Wing fighter in VR on that new Star Wars game. I've been waiting for this for like 4.5 years, even longer. So I am super psyched for that. I mean, I've been waiting for like to have that experience since I was a little kid. So it's going to be like a real, one of those midlife crisis things, which doesn't cost that much money because I don't have to actually buy the X-Wing fighter or a plane or something. I can just get the VR thing and I'll be good to go. All right, so let me go find the app here. It's in my apps and games. Let's go to see all. So what we're going to do to test out game streaming is we're going to use something called Moonlight. And this links up with your NVIDIA-powered PC. So this is going to be streaming locally. This is game streaming that we're going to do locally on the network. So we're not streaming from another server, but I will try to get that to work at some point. Okay, so now it found my laptop. I do have to type a code in. So I have to go to the PC and just type in this code. And this is fine right now because it's just sitting on the table here. But if I had to go upstairs, it's always a pain to have to do that. All right, and say connect. And I think it's going to let me in here. Yep, there we go. And as you can see here, I can use my game controller to pick the game. And I'm going to pick I'm going to pick No Man's Sky. And so what it's doing now is it's connecting to the laptop right there over the network. And it's going to boot the game up on the laptop, but we're going to stream it here. So this is actually my laptop screen. And I'm assuming what it's doing right now is just loading up the game. Yep, there it goes. So I'm going to record some B-roll here of this, because I can roll this in later. And I'm waiting for the controller to kick on here. I may have to do some adjustments. That's the mouse. So the controller, you know what, I'm going to pair this up differently, I think. Hang on, my controller didn't get recognized. So I think I just need to configure this real quick. Input settings. Okay, you know what? I think I need to pair this controller up in a different way, because right now it's paired up as a regular Bluetooth controller. So let me switch it into X input mode and just see. I may have to get a different controller connected. Let's see what happens. Bear with me, folks. And we're going to go back out. We're going to repair the controller here. This poor little Fire Stick, we're putting it through a lot today. But it's doing well. I'm impressed with it. It's just amazing what you can get for a little bit of money and what it can do, you know? It's just, Jack in the chat was talking about it's amazing what you can do with Wi-Fi. It's even more amazing just the fact that these little devices are so powerful. All right, so I changed this into X input mode, which is it's basically emulating an Xbox controller. And I do have an Xbox controller here too, in case that doesn't work. So we've got it connected now. So let's see if that fares better with Moonlight. So I suspect what happened here was that it wasn't paired as an Xbox controller. It was paired up as a direct input controller. So let's see if this works better. And now we're going to connect back to the PC. Oh, that's another good point, Elias, because that's been something that's been bugging me before too. I got to do a lot more with it before I start this. The new stick supports frame rate matching as well, and that's big, especially. Does that work in Plex too, Elias? It's still not picking up the game controller here on Moonlight. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start the game anyhow and see if. Looks like it just quit on me. And so now the question is the game crashing? And here's another comment from Elias that's of interest, which is that the 3 and the 4 and the Lite all use the same CPU and GPU. The only difference is the video decoder. So let me go back to, you know what? It dropped the streaming connection. So I'm going to let that run. I've seen this do this before, and I can't remember what caused it. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reconnect. Isn't that weird? It's not actually showing me the game. It's showing me like it's a secondary display. All right, we're going to have to troubleshoot this a little bit. You know, I wonder if all right, so we got 60 frames per second here. Yeah, we're doing like a 20 megabit stream just for Wi-Fi. Isn't that strange? It's like not showing the game, even though the game is loaded right now and running on the laptop. Oh, you know what? It could be. Yeah, it's showing the browser, right? Isn't that weird? So I selected the game, and it was there for a second, and then it just like drops out. It's not like overlaying the game. And the controller's working now. So I'm actually seeing the guy control, but we're not getting the video over. So why is that? So bear with me, folks. This is not the problem with the Fire TV stick. This is a problem with its operator. So we need to troubleshoot this real quick here. Yes, the game stream is on. I'm just going to like cycle it and turn it off and turn it back on again and see if that might trigger it to work better. Okay, and I also had disabled the overlay, and sometimes that can be a cause as well. So let's try this again and see if that will get it going. Lon.Dog is asking if I have a riding lawnmower for that big backyard back there. I do not, but I have a friend of mine that does do it. So a friend of mine owns a landscaping company, and I gladly pay him to do the mowing for me. Yes, this is odd. It's just like it's not streaming the game over. This is Moonlight. So it's like the NVIDIA game streaming is just not cooperating. So I'm not even seeing. I'm looking at the laptop screen. It's showing the game, but it's not coming over. So we're going to have to do some more work to figure this out. Let me go and try something else. Because I wonder if we can get. So it's definitely not the fault of the stick. What was the other thing that we were running with? So we were playing a Rainway. That's what we were messing around with before. Let's see if there's a Rainway. 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 All right, we're going to go look in the app, the app store and see if we can find it there. I know it can do it, so this is we just got to figure it out. Rainway. This thing's just not cooperating right now. Let's see, Rain. By the way, Raised by Wolves, I've been watching that on HBO now. Very good show. There it is, Rainway. Okay, so let's try that real quick. Oh, there is one. Good, perfect. So we're going to install this. I found this one works better. This is called Rainway. And what I like about Rainway is that it works on Chromebooks really well. And it's similar to Moonlight. So we're going to try this real quick. And I'm going to load that up on my laptop. I may have to update it. And we're just downloading it right now, so let's see if it cooperates. If not, I'll have to boot my gaming PC up upstairs and mess around with that. Okay. All right, bear with me, folks. Now, one cool thing is I've got this app on my watch, so as I do multi-factor authentication on everything, and I'm able to look at all my multi-factor codes here without having to run back and get my phone. So that's helpful. And it looks like I didn't set up a password that I recorded for Rainway on my hang on, folks. Oh, I do have a password here. Perfect. Okay. All right, put that in there. Okay. And it's just setting itself up on my gaming laptop here. All right, so while that's going, we're going to get it going on here. Yeah, so this is another in-home game streaming app similar to Moonlight, which we were just trying to get working, which was not cooperating. Okay. So we're going to get started here, and I've got to just type in a code. So visit, okay, hang on a second, folks. Okay, we're good to go. All right, so let's try this again. All right, now we've got my, and it recognized my controller here too. Now these again are all games that are on my PC, which is right next to it, but it's on the network. So we're going to stream No Man's Sky here, oops, shoot, from the gaming PC. And now it's loading the game up. And hopefully this, there it goes. Now it's working. And you're hearing the sound out of the laptop over there. I'll test the sound out for the full review. I could probably bring it in. I'm just worried about my, let's see if we can bring it in here. All right, if I drop out, I will be back. And we survived. Perfect, okay. And are we getting audio on the Spark? We are not getting audio. Nor are we getting the game controller to get recognized here either. Is this the same problem it was having before? No, it's not working. It's not recognizing it. I'm just going to initiate it from the computer here and see if we can. There's always little compatibility issues that you deal with this stuff. Because it looks like it's not picking up the controller input. I got to look into why Moonlight was doing that. All right. So that is a bit loud on the laptop. Yeah, so for some reason, see if we can get our little dude here into the ship just to right, we're going to try to see if we can troubleshoot this a little bit. This is part of what we have to figure out every time we get one of these things going. So we're going to enable mouse support. Actually, we're going to disable it. It wants to use this with the controller. Yeah, so it's got the controller detected. You can see we're getting 11 milliseconds of, or 20, not bad for Wi-Fi. You can see the video frame rate. But for whatever reason, although the game controller is being recognized, it's not working in the game. So let me try to quit this real quick and see if we can, like maybe like a relaunching the game, if that might get it working. So let's try that real quick and see if that will get it going here. If it doesn't work, we'll give up. And I'll try something else a little bit later. So in one thing, we got the controller to work, but not the video. And in this one, we got the video to work, but not the controller. Oh, now it's working. Okay, good. So it looks like I had to just cycle it. And I'm not getting audio pass through, but that could just be the nature of my current connection. So I'll troubleshoot that separately. All right. You in the chat have all been very quiet lately. Somebody say something. We haven't had a chat show up in 13 minutes. I can't imagine this being that captivating. All right, there we go. So this is now the new update. And it's running on my gaming laptop, so it might be a little jerky just because I haven't tweaked the settings for the new update here yet. But it works pretty good. Again, this is a game running on my PC that we're streaming. And so there's some artifacts and stuff that I see on the screen here, and that's just due to the bit rate that I have it set to at the moment. So I can adjust that. So let's go see. That planet looks pretty cool over there. So we're going to go and just kind of enable our little thruster thing and just head over there. So Elias has not tried Moonlight himself. So yeah, I've had this problem not just with this device, it's other ones too. So I just have to tweak it a little bit more and figure it out. That's the thing with these reviews is that I try to do a little bit more, because like you could do a review and let's face it, you could be running with the Fire TV stick from 4 years ago. It's going to work fine for streaming TV and stuff. So really, it's getting into the weeds as to like what's new and different about this one. What can it do? What can you do with it that you wouldn't think you could do with it? So for example, game streaming is one of those things that I think is pretty neat, especially in-home streaming, because if you got a nice gaming computer, why not, right? I mean, you spent $30 on this thing, and now you can run games on a different TV in your house. Just hook your controller up. So this is a pretty cool game. I have not played it since the most recent update, which it now has, and they've done a lot of graphical changes to it. So every one of these planets that you visit is all unique. And they've added these new like super high mountains and stuff. And this has a VR mode too. I haven't tried that in a while. Oh, this is cool. They did nice. This is very nice. Yeah, it didn't have this depth of like see like those mountains and how high they are. Like you didn't have a lot of these valleys and canyons and stuff before. And these trees look new and different and taller. What's cool in the VR version is, it's the same game, but you can play it in VR. The sense of scale. I'm going to get my headset out tonight and play around with this a little bit, I think. That looks cool. I'm just wondering why I'm not getting audio out of this right now. Let's see. Yeah, it's not passing any audio right now. I'll have to play around with that too. I got a few things on my to-do list. That looks cool. What I love about this game is that you could see a planet like just reflected in the sky, and you can just get in your spaceship and fly to it, which I think is awesome. So this planet, I think, is a new planet because this was not in this star system before. So they, rather than like mess up everybody's planets that were already in existence, they added new ones. Yeah, this is very cool. So just to sum up, we got in our little spaceship and we flew down to this planet. And this is streaming from my gaming PC. So this is not actually running on the Fire Stick. It's running on a computer, and then the computer is streaming the game. But we're controlling the game with a game controller that's linked up with the Fire Stick via Bluetooth. If you like games that don't have like a beginning, a middle, and an end, this is one to check out because you can just explore the universe forever. And you can build little bases and stuff. So I can go, here, I'll show you my little base. So I'm curious what my planet looks like. So my daughter and I built a base on a planet that's all bubbles, or has bubbles on it. And so this is you get into these, oops. I'll come back to that later. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so I just wanted to see how it ran. It runs. Oops. And yeah, we're going to play around a little bit more with this. It's funny, the fans on those gaming laptops really get worked when you're running this stuff. Cool. All right. Well, I am pretty happy so far with everything. I'm just seeing if I can adjust. These are some of the settings for the laptop that I'm playing with right now. Cool. All right, I'm going to mess around with that a little bit more. But Rainway, that's what I was just running here in case you're curious. Oops, here we go home. All right. Well, I think I got enough to get started with here. So I'm going to probably go take my coffee break and get going there. And I see we had, good, a bunch of comments did come in when I asked for them. So I'm glad. I just thought maybe the stream like died out again. So we had Tornado who says, not much of a gamer, so I'm on the background. That's okay. It's okay. I'm a gamer sometimes. It's funny, ever since I had kids, I can't find the time. It's one of those things. So yeah, so this is the Fire TV stick. And if you're curious about the setup and stuff, you can go to my live stream archive. If you click the Amazon link, after this stream concludes, they put a recording up, and you can watch it from the beginning and just kind of skip through it and see what we've been doing. So that's that. And Tornado has here, I'll pull up a few of your questions real quick here. Tornado has an original Fire, first-gen Fire. It's on his nightstand, hooks it up every once in a while. It's a little slow. It's funny, the second-generation Fire TV is still, I think, the fastest they ever made. It doesn't do 4K, though, so the new Cube is pretty good. I reviewed that one recently, or maybe last year. Anthony Bianco wants to know, any plans to review the LED cover for the Fire TV remote? Glow Mote? I have not seen that. Send me a link to it. I'll check it out, maybe. Glow Mote. Okay, I'll look for that. It calls it the Glow Mote. Let me see. Let me look that up real quick. I'm curious about that. The Glow Mote. Now, what does that do? So the Glow Mote, or it's Glow, Glomote. The Glow Mote, I'm not finding it on Amazon. Did I spell it correctly? The Glow Mote, Glow. Oh, it's right on the screen. I should have looked on screen here. Glow Mote. Yeah, it's funny. When I look that up, I don't see it on Amazon. I'll have to dig into that a little bit. NLG says I should make a series of videos about Nomium. Yeah, one of these days I might do something with it. There's actually some good content on there, so that's worth checking out. Elias agrees. He says the second generation Cube is the best performing, followed by the second gen Fire TV, which can do 4K. But that second gen box was super fast. Not as fast as the Shield, but it was a monster. Because I think they were hoping to have because they had two different versions of it. It was the same box, but one was for games and it came with a controller bundle. That's the one I bought. I think that's the one I sold to Elias actually. And then they had another version of it that was just more for streaming. Oh, I see. So Anthony says the glow mote is a workaround for it not have, right, so there's no backlight on the remote. So you have to kind of feel around. Although, you know what's nice about the remote is that everything feels unique enough that you can, once you get a feel of the layout, you know where everything is. There's not too many buttons. And they also don't sell any real estate to other companies, so every button is functional. It's not going to summon an app. So I think once you get a feel for where the buttons are, you're in good shape. And they haven't changed this much. It's pretty much the same as it was. So, and Elliot says I sold him the first gen box, which was what kicked off his site, and that's and the rest is history for both of us. Who would have thought that little box that I bought and then sold to you, we both started our businesses off of that. Isn't that crazy? It's funny how that works. So good stuff. Well, I'm glad Elias, first of all, I'm glad everybody stopped in because it's great to have you with me as I'm playing with new stuff. And I want to thank all of you for watching. I want to thank Elias for popping in because it helped answer some questions. What I'm going to do now is take my break, get a little cup of coffee, see how the kids are doing upstairs because school is now over. We have homeschool right now because of the pandemic, so they're home Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. However, in Connecticut, our numbers are good, so if we can keep the numbers down for another 2 weeks, they're going back in 5 days a week. So we'll be checking that out. And Justin Lee brings up the Chromecast again. Yes, that is coming in tomorrow. So when we get it, I will start testing it. I will try to get a review of that. I want to get this shot today if I can. And I want to try to get the Chromecast done over the weekend because the only mitigating factor, and it's a good mitigating factor, is that my internet connection is getting upgraded tomorrow between 12 and 2. So after tomorrow, we're not going to have any more buffering. That's what I'm paying for. So be on the lookout for that. So tomorrow's going to be a little disruptive, so I'm going to try to get this one shot today if I can. And we're going to go from there. So yeah, that is the scoop. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you all. And I will be back very soon. And set your notifications. And what I would love for you all to do is click on the Amazon link in the description, and that's going to bring you over to my Amazon page. And you can also follow me there because I'm going to start doing a lot of different things on Amazon than I do here on YouTube. And we're going to continue simulcasting, no doubt, no question, no doubt about that. But there will be some things that, because it's easier for me to stream to Amazon, believe it or not, than it is to stream to YouTube. So occasionally if I have not a lot of time and I just want to do a quick stream while I'm working on something, I'll just pop over on Amazon and just do it there. So so sign up. It's good stuff. And I think you can watch me right through the Amazon app. And then what's also neat about it is as I'm talking about products, I can highlight the product below me so you can kind of see and follow along. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more streaming because so what happens with the streaming is that because my connection's been so unstable, it becomes an additional piece of work to keep it working. So I'm constantly checking to make sure the stream hasn't gone down. And if it does go down, I've got to then restart things and whatever. So when we get the connection issues mitigated, I think that's going to be a big help to allowing me just to kind of let the stream run during the day as we're playing with stuff. So that's the game plan. And I've been really enjoying streaming on Amazon. It's a good group of people over there. So I'm happy to lend my content to their platform and YouTube too. So. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for the kind words, and thank you, Elias, for stopping by, and thank you, everyone else, for stopping by. Appreciate your questions and feedback. It helps me get the review straightened out. And I will be back again very soon. I will talk to you all when I return. Bye-bye. And by the way, we're going to return gigabit, multi-gigabit, so stay tuned.